Good morning, children. I had already sent you a video on the life of the people and condition of women of the Gupta age. We finished there. Okay. So second part I had already sent. Now this is the third part, and I'm going to start with trade and religion of the Guptas. Now, a network of safe roads and navigable rivers connected important cities during the Gupta age. Important cities were connected by navigable rivers. Navigable means that people could go over there, they could go on a ship, in boats, and they could carry the goods from one place to another, and the roads were also very safe and well constructed. This promoted internal trade, which in turn promoted various industries. Because of the internal trade, many industries were promoted like weaving, carpentry, metallurgy, shipbuilding, and pot making. So these were the industries which were prospering at that time. Now, so the trade was very, very good, and Gupta age was a very prosperous age. As you all know, the Gupta rulers, they encouraged foreign trade also. Indian spices, pearls, ivory, precious stones, perfumes, and textiles found ready markets in distant lands. So all these things were imported from India to other countries. Ports on the west coast of India like Broach, Sopara, Kalyan, Calicut, and Cochin traded with West Asia. These were the ports which traded with other foreign countries, with the West Asian countries, Africa, and the Mediterranean lands. Tamralipti on the east coast was an important port for trade with Southeast Asia. This trade led to the spread of the Sanskrit language, Indian art forms, and religions such as Hinduism and Buddhism to Southeast Asia. Now, because trade was carried on with the foreign countries, so what happened? Indian religion, Indian language, Indian culture was also spreading in these foreign countries. Overland trade linked India to Central Asia and China. This trade declined when the Huns invaded India. Huns, I told you, was a nomadic tribe. So when they invaded India, this trade, it declined. As a result, many cities in the Ganga Valley declined. Decline means it was their downfall. Now, religion during the Gupta age. Most Gupta coins, they bear images of gods and goddesses. Most of the Gupta coins, they have images of gods and goddesses on them. And the Gupta rulers worshipped mainly Vishnu and Shiva. These were the two gods they worshipped. They performed many sacrifices. The idea of the avatar or incarnation of Vishnu emerged. Okay, they were worshipping these gods, and the idea of the incarnation of Vishnu emerged during this time. It was believed that whenever there's a disorder in society, Vishnu appears in an animal or human form to restore order. This was their belief. The Dharma Shastras containing the Hindu social and religious rules were compiled during this period. Which period? During the Gupta period. Image worship became widespread in Hinduism. It was during the Gupta age that image worship became very popular and it was widespread. Temples were built with the images of gods. Religious worship became complex and expensive. So people slowly turned to bhakti, that is personal devotion to God without rituals and ceremonies. You are devoted to God, it is your faith in God, but you do not believe in rituals and sacrifices. That is the bhakti movement. So people started turning towards that because Hinduism at that time had become very complicated, and the Brahmins, in order to gain their position, they were laying emphasis on these rituals and sacrifices, which were complex also, and they were very expensive too. The Guptas were tolerant towards Buddhism and Jainism. Samudragupta even permitted the Sri Lankan ruler Meghavarman to build a monastery at Bodh Gaya. But Buddhism was on the decline. But during the Gupta age, Hinduism was coming into prominence and Buddhism was coming to decline. It was the downfall of Buddhism at that time. Some of the greatest works of Sanskrit literature were composed during the Gupta period. The Gupta rulers were themselves great scholars and patrons of learning. We read about Samudragupta that he was a great patron of learning. He was a scholar, he was a musician, he was a very good poet and a very good warrior. So the greatest gems of Chandragupta Vikramaditya's court was Kalidas. He produced famous works like Meghduta, Kumar Sambhav, and Abhigyan Shakuntalam. Shudraka wrote the play Mrich Katika, and Vishakadatta wrote Mudra Rakshasa. The Panchtantra, a collection of delightful fables, was also written during this period. So Panchtantra, is a collection of fables. It was written during this period. Fable is a short story, often about animals, which teaches about right or wrong behavior. It teaches you about, in a way, it is a moral story. It teaches you about right or wrong behavior, and it is about animals. That is what a fable is. So many great works of literature were composed during the Gupta age. The Puranas, the Ramayana, and the Mahabharata, which had so far been passed down orally, they were also written during this period. So all these epics are Mahabharata, Ramayana, they were also, which were just passed on orally. They were not written, but they were written during the Gupta age. Now, science. The Gupta period witnessed a remarkable growth of scientific knowledge. Aryabhatta, a famous mathematician and astronomer, who studies about the planets and satellites, put forward the theory that the earth rotates on its own axis and revolves around the sun. Aryabhatta understood the concept of zero and the decimal system. Another mathematician and astronomer, Varam wrote the Brihat Samhita, an encyclopedia of all branches of knowledge. Encyclopedia is a book or set of books giving information on many subjects. In medicine, the science of Ayurveda also reached its great heights during the Gupta age. The science of metallurgy improved to a great extent, and the iron pillar at Mehrauli, which has not rusted yet till date, was cast during the Gupta period. So you can, children, come to know that the Gupta rulers, it was a time when India was known as the golden bird, and it was at this time that everything was prospering and the rulers were very good, and they themselves were very good scholars, and they were very good poets, and they were very good warriors. So that is why the Gupta age is also known as the golden age. So I hope you understood till now. Yes, please go through the video, and I'll be sending the last part in a few days. Bye bye and stay safe.